Hello, welcome. This is the practical walkthrough on how to create a port binding shell, RET. We are going to implement this design which we've discussed in the previous lecture. So open up your Visual Studio and then click on Create New Project. Make sure you select C# Windows Desktop and then select Windows Form App.NET Framework and then click on the Next button. For the name, we shall call it 06 port binding shell ret. Port binding shell ret. Location, click on the three dots and select your ret folder, your ret projects folder, and then click on Create. Click on the Form 1 and we are going to set the opacity to 0. And then under the properties here, click on opacity, set it to 0, hit enter. Click on the lightning icon to insert a form shown event handler. Double click on shown. And then please download this file from the resource section for this lecture. Let us delete the usings all here. Select all this and hit delete. And then just copy out all of this and paste it up here. Next, select the Form 1 class and hit delete. Come to the file, select all the code inside the namespace. Everything up to this line. Copy and paste it in here. Let's delete this first. And then paste the copy code in here. Next, click on the Save button. So now notice that we have imported one new library called System Diagnostics. This library contains the class which you need for creating the command exe process. And here is a new object called process command. This will be the object that is going to store the process cmd exe. This part of the code is the same under the Form 1 shown. So what is new is this part. So over here we create a new process calling the process constructor, assign it to process command which we already declared up here. And then now we shall initialize the properties for this process. For the file name, we will assign cmd.exe. cmd.exe is a command prompt. And then for create no window, set it to true so that when this process starts, it will not pop up a black command window. And then here, use shall execute also false because we want to redirect the standard in and standard outputs. So over here, we redirect the standard output to set it to true, standard input set it to true, redirect standard error set it to true. So by these three lines here, we already redirect all the inputs and outputs for this process. However, it is required that you must set a command output event handler, which is referring to this component here. So that is why over here, you must assign an event handler to this property called output data received. so that when the data is being generated by the command exe, it will be handled by this event handler. And this is how you do it. You append to whatever event handler that it already has this new event handler called data received event handler. So to create it, you must use the new keyword. I'll put this on one line, easier to read. And then call the constructor for the data received event handler and pass it your event handler. So this event handler is user defined. It is defined below. I will explain that in a short while. Next, you call the start method of the process command object, and then next you call the begin output read line. So this will start the process itself. Next, you create a string input object so that you can construct strings on the fly. Then you come to the process, you come to the command loop. So in here, whatever the stream reader reads will be appended to the string input which you declare up here. The reason why you do this is so that whatever you come in can be built into a string and then send it into the standard in. So the input pipe will handle this for you. So the input pipe we have already declared has been redirected over here. Standard input, redirect standard input is here. Redirect standard input. So that's why you are able to use stream handler over here. See this? So once you already created the stream from the data that is sent by the client, you will insert a new line character so that you will go to the next line. And then you will call the write line function that is inherent inside your sender input and send it the string input which you created here. So this string input is whatever is coming from the client. So whatever is coming from the client now goes into the input pipe using this method called write line, standard input write line. Okay, and then you are also searching for this string. If you happen to find this string inside the string input, you will call this function called stop server, which is a user defined one, which I'll explain below. So if you find this exit string, that means the user wants to quit. The telnet client or whatever client wants to quit. That's why you stop the server. And not only that, you will, in order to close down this machine, you will also throw a new artificial exception. So this exception will cause this catch block to be triggered, and so that you can perform the cleanup here. So that's the end of the while loop. So the cleanup is you are trying to kill the process by calling the kill method of the process. You put this in the try loop, in the try block, in case there are errors. You don't want to crash the program. You will just catch in the catch block and ignore it so that it can continue running without crashing. You will also close stream reader, stream writer, never stream, and also the class, and also the socket. So this is what cleanup does. Stop server is defined here. Stop server will clean up and also exit the whole program. The whole program will shut down. So cleanup is coming from here, the catch block, and the stop server is coming from here. When the user sends when the telnet client sends the exit string, exit command, you will call the stop server here. So it's pretty redundant actually. Cleanup already has all these things, and you also make sure you clean up again one more time, and then you exit. So now let's talk about the command output data handler which you use here. So it is defined down here. So this command output data handler, I remind you, is actually this part. It forms part of the output pipe. So what it does is it will create a string output in order to create strings that you can send back to the telnet client. Remember, this command output data handler will only be triggered when the CMD.exe has something to send to the client. So the command output data handler will receive whatever is being output by the CMD.exe and store it in a string called the string output. So that's what this whole loop, this if statement here is trying to do. It is trying to append the outline data. Outline is actually referring to here, data received, whatever is being received is your outline. The dot data is a property of outline. So outline data is being appended to your string output over here and then push over to the Telnet client over here, stream writer. And then you flush it so it gets sent out. So this is how this program works. So in the next video, we are going to build this, compile, build it, run it and test it out. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.